No. They had been members for almost 20 years. The Doctrine taught them everything they knew. At 16 years old, I was out on my own. Out of sight, out of mind. Hello everybody, and welcome to the channel. If you are watching live or on the replay, drop down into the comments or in the chat what time it is and where you are watching from, because I love to know. Now, in today's show, we have got a very big question. What the heck does the FBI know about Scientology? Now, the answer is quite a lot, really. And we're going to have a look at a few of the documents and things that have been shared around from the FBI's vault, and some clips and things that people have been talking about involving what the FBI know about Scientology and why the government is so afraid of them. I'll also be joined by a very special guest who has actually been working to expose their plan, Scientology's plan, to trip us all up out here. Her name is Mona, aka Fat Grammy, and she has actually created a letter for Neverins to kind of sign and actually send to the FBI as a complaint. So we're going to get to have a little look at that, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to get to show you some clips. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, on the FBI's website, they actually have released lots and lots of documents, including 9 documents about Scientology. Now, they are mostly redacted. I'm just going to show you quickly this here. This is the initial one, if I can find it. And it was the 2009 human trafficking situation up here. Now, there was a lot that went into this document, and I could sit and read it all to you, but I'm not going to. I will make sure there is a link. This particular copy of it is actually sourced from Mike Rinder's blog, just because it's a bit bigger and easier to read. But in this, they discuss the fact of the Sea Org members' living conditions, all of that stuff, how they're kept against their like they're not allowed to leave and all that kind of stuff as well. So all of that is in this document. So a very easy answer to how much do they know is quite a lot. We also have some clips to share with you. Just give me a second here. Share screen. We've got a clip here from the PBD podcast, The Truth About Scientology with Mike Rinder, who discusses a little bit about the government's sort of fear and things with that. We're going to play a little clip here.
Hand us your phone and has all the text messages, communication. If this organization is so bad, how come the government's not worried about them?
Well, they are. You can't say that the government is not worried about them. Are they? And have they acted? There is a big problem that the government has acting against Scientology, or 2 big problems. One, the money that they have to hire lawyers that will mean it will drag on forever. And 2, the fact that they hide behind the First Amendment.
That's so completely true. Scientology can basically outlast anybody in court because they get $200 million a year from their rich donors that they can use to fund their legal cases. And yes, the First Amendment does protect them and was the reason, in fact, this human trafficking thing, well, part of the reason it got shut down. I do have another clip here. Hold on a second. From Mr. Chris, who blocked me on Twitter, Shelton.
Is that the FBI actually was investigating the Church of Scientology at one point a few years ago, and there was a court case that was lost on the human trafficking in California, and it was lost because of First Amendment freedom of religion, and the church is, has this this First Amendment protection, and it's.
Now, the case he is actually talking about is, in fact, the boom, Headley et al. Versus the Church of Scientology International et al., where they did file for human trafficking and they lost this lawsuit. And shortly after, the investigation did not go through. Now, they absolutely had the right to file this lawsuit. You know, the abuses that they had suffered was real and very crazy. And it's very sad that they lost this case. But the FBI also seem to stop looking into it because of the First Amendment protection on this. And like Mike said in the other video, the FBI and the police and stuff, they have to choose where to allocate their resources. And are they going to go after, you know, like drug rings and things like that, or are they going to go after this so-called religion is the question. So that might be the answer to why nothing has been done. But I'm going to bring somebody onto the screen who has actually been discussing this for some time now and has been looking into this a lot longer than me, so might have a bit more insight. And that lady is right here. Hey, Mona. How are you?
Hi. Hello, Kelly.
It's so great to see you. Thank you for last minute jumping on the channel. It's great to talk to you, and I have an actual letter that I would love to share later on that you've created, which is amazing. But talk to me about, you know, kind of your background. How did you get involved with this whole Scientology FBI situation?
Sure. Well, just kind of getting involved watching podcasts and the streamers like Lara and Serge, Liz and Liz, just absolutely fangirling over you and Natalie and all that you've been through, all that you have to offer to the community. And there was some podcasts and some streams that came through from Mike Rinder, in which he was talking about the case that him and Amy Scobie and Mark Headley had put together, and they sent it to the FBI, and there wasn't anything done about it. So that was my original claim. Is I had heard, well, people can make claims. To back up a little bit, Mike, literally Michael, and Serge, literally Serge and I, we were working, and Audit LA have been working together on some OIG for the LAPD, the Office of Inspector General down there in Los Angeles. And we got a meeting with them to discuss putting in a claim against the LAPD for not protecting the children of Scientology and allowing them due process. And that gave me an idea. Well, the FBI certainly has dropped the ball on this. Maybe they have an OIG. And so I went through the process and looked at it, and they certainly do. The Office of Inspector General is oversees the FBI, and the FBI is overseen by the Department of Justice. So what I could do then is to write a letter complaining about the FBI to the Department of Justice, who adjudicates the FBI. So I put in a claim stating that that they dropped the ball on this Mike Rinder claim and what's going on because of it. Where is any adjudication? What happened to it?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that was on like Friday. Monday morning, I got a call from the FBI.
Oh, wow. Was this last week or when was this?
This was a couple of months ago.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, this is hot tea. Wow.
Yeah, no. But still, to have little old me sitting in my bed with a call from the FBI was like, oh, shizers, right? Like,
That's
what do I do
amazing.
now? But they basically, when you're doing a claim like this, or you're doing any type of governmental work, especially with the police or with the FBI, they try and shake you out the first time. So they called me and said, well, if anybody has a claim, they should be really reporting to their local or their regional offices. You know, why are you calling us? You're not a victim. You weren't harmed. And so I took that as, okay, well, then I can go to the next step, because we're not this is an aggregate claim. This is a systemic claim. This isn't just about one person. At that time, it was 129 people on the list
Mm-hmm.
of Liz Gale's list. This isn't just one person, and this just wasn't just one state or one region. So then I refiled a claim and said, no, FBI man, this is improper. This is inadequate. The Department of Justice needs to look at this again. Then they basically just couldn't put it on a back burner. And then Serge and Nora and I went online to do the survivors claim. And the claim, and to back up again, there's 5 ways that the Church of Scientology can get their 501c3 letter revoked,
Okay.
to have their status revoked. The first 4 ways are adjudicated by the IRS. The IRS and the Church of Scientology made a little handheld agreement, kiss, kiss, make up, back in 1993, basically saying they can't be audited and they can't have their 501c3 revoked unless they do illegal activities or violate public policy.
Which we
That's
know they are, right?
right. That's the 5th way. And the 5th way isn't adjudicated by the IRS. It's adjudicated by the Department of Justice, the FBI.
Right.
So knowing all of that, that's where the first letter came in for the survivors saying, look, FBI men, you've failed us. You haven't protected us, and you haven't let us have our due process.
And is this
And
letter, is this on your YouTube channel? Can we pull
Yep,
it
there's
up? Let me have a look.
Yep, there's 2 letters. One is for the survivors and one is for the never ends.
Okay, hold on. It's not this one. Let me go to and zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on. So this one's the oh, there's a big zoom there. Okay, this one is for the claim, right? This is the never end claim. Is that correct? That I provide your name, would like
Nope,
to submit a complaint. Which one's this?
that's the survivor one.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, let's have a little read of this. I'm just readjusting my
The one that
screen.
says I provide your name is the survivor one. The other one that doesn't have that is the never end.
Okay, let's have a look at this first, shall we? So I can see this here. I provide your name, would like to submit a complaint. I was physically, mentally, or sexually abused or neglected as a child. And the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, and the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, did not protect me or allow. Oh my gosh, sorry, I just scrolled far away. I got too excited. Did not protect me or allow me to have due process. The FBI and IRS did not investigate properly, if at all, allegations of illegal activity and violations of public policy. Allegations of abuse and neglect from the Church of Scientology beliefs, practices, and doctrine of auditing, ethics, handling, and courses to include practices of purification and disconnection. These practices are enforced and administered to children not only 8 to 17, but babies as young as 1 day old. Per the IRS document publication 1828 PG .4, 4 lists the IRC rule for exempt organizations, 5 distinct ways to lose your tax exempt status. And these are the points you just mentioned, right?
Yes.
Which I think is so well written and something that any survivor of Scientology can actually send in. That's correct. That's why you've created it, right?
That's correct. They are a copy paste. That's all they need to do is copy paste and put their name where it says I provide your name.
Yeah, and you've included the list here, Liz Gale's list of children of Scientology in here, as well as the previous claims in there as well, which is so great. And I will make sure there is a link for it, so you guys can go and see that as well. And then where is the Never Ends one? That's what I need to look for.
So this is this one, and then the Never Ends is in a different community page.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm being so rubbish with this. Let me zoom out a second. Okay. It's in a different tab, hey? A different,
It is in a different tab.
putting together a claim that us Neverins can submit. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing where this was. I've just lost it. Okay, we'll have a little look for that in a minute. But let's just come back over here. Did everything off one screen today, guys, so I'm all mashed up. So that's an amazing letter, and you obviously wrote that. You've worked in government before as well, so you kind of get the language and the way to kind of present it, which is so helpful because most of us are not that way inclined. We're not in that position, so it's such a helpful thing, and it's something I love about this community is that so many people have different experiences and backgrounds that they can bring to the table.
And we can all work together on it, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I really, really love that. So honestly, thank you so much for doing that. And it's not that there's not been that people haven't spoken to the FBI. I've got a clip right here. Hold on.
No,
Let me
there have
share
been
it.
a ton of claims that have been. I personally know that there's been sex trafficking, child abuse claims made to the FBI. And
Yeah.
I don't understand, except for the fact that every single person that goes through the auditing and the ethics handling, everybody that has services has to sign those arbitration agreements.
Yeah.
And the arbitration agreements make it to where you can't file a suit so far in the states. And so there's nothing to back up the federal claims of them going, oh, yeah, here's some state claims. Let's just take it on. Such as like the 2x2 claim. I know Marilyn had made a video about it yesterday, but that's the one I was referring to the other day. I was so excited because it said a church in California is being investigated. And I'm like, yes, finally, Scientology. And it wasn't. It was the
Not
2x2.
that one.
It wasn't that one.
We'll get there. We're gonna get there.
We will
I just wanted
definitely get there.
I want to show as well, like, there's been things flying around that, people haven't said everything to the FBI, and that might be true, but what is definitely true is they've said enough. Like, they've said enough. I've got a clip here from Amy Scobie I want to play. She, well, I'll just play it and then we can discuss.
Going after people after they leave, so you can't just shake them off. And oh yeah, forced disconnection with families. I mean, they're interfering in every single aspect of people's lives, and they're just insane. And so I told them everything and anything I could think of, for hours and hours and hours. She was there for 2 days with Matt and I, and then she met with Matt too, and he had a lot of information too, because not only was he at the int base, he had a lot of information about what goes on at the Flagland base as well, because he had to finance a lot of activity to get people to hide people whenever something happened, like if anyway, if something bad happened and the people had to be gotten out of the either country or the state or something like that. He's rushing money through for situations like that and different things. He's exposed some of it.
So I just wanted to share that little clip there because that is part of what this is. Everyone has these little roles that they play when they're on staff in whatever way it is. Now, this is not Matt Pesh should be going to jail or anything like that. He did finance this kind of trafficking. And I bring this up because in the FBI file.
That's one of the videos that I saw that made me start this.
Yeah. Let me show you something a second here. So here is this. You can find this on the Vault Files, guys. All of the links and things I've referenced today, they're all going to be in the description after this video ends. I'm sorry if this is all a bit messy, but we're all researching and looking at this together. I hope to put something a bit more substantial together, and perhaps Mona can help me out with that, and we can make something really amazing to to show what the heck is going on. I believe I'm looking for page 12, so let's have a
You know,
little look
in
here.
those FBI files that you're talking about,
Mhm.
the 8th file is amazing.
The 8th one, well, stay tuned,
you-
people. I'm just taking it day by day, one at a time, because honestly, I find all of this quite a lot of, a lot of reading and legalese that isn't really my wheelhouse, but I want to look at it and get people interested in what's going on here because it is insane. Here
The
we go.
8th file is a gentleman that was in the RPF, and so it was his daily logs of
Wow,
writing.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Interesting. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Now, this is a little kind of, it's like a tally up of what the case is about. Hey, and you can see it's in here. We've got number of victims reported unknown, total number possibly over 1,000 victims here. But the thing that I
Exactly.
find interesting, forced labor is suspected, but it says on point H here, it says human trafficking task force involved, and it says no, which I just don't think can possibly be true if you are claiming human trafficking, but saying there's no human traffickers. It doesn't make a shred of sense to me. And I think the truth of it is that people that are involved in Scientology are part of the trafficking issue. They are part of this problem.
I think what that entailed, because I remember reading through this, is there a human trafficking task force involved? When they have a possible human trafficking case, they put a task force together. And they
so
did
it's not
not
like
have
a
a task force.
So it's not a task force within the group.
Correct. Right.
Okay, that's fine then. Because I was reading this and thinking, what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Because there's got to be, people that are part of this whole situation. But it does bring me to a kind of bigger point here where when we hear people talking about Scientology, we hear the accusations as Scientology did X to me. Scientology did this. Scientology locked up my passport. Scientology put me on this. When actually, the truth of the matter is, Scientologists did this. These crimes can't be committed by an entity, they're committed by people. That is just the truth of the matter. And I don't think anybody that has come out so far would get arrested or anything. I think their cooperation with the FBI probably protects them from that. So this isn't a debate about that.
Can I give you a different perspective on that, Kelly?
You absolutely can. Please do.
Okay. So, yes, in the past, Warren Jeffs of the FLDS, yes, he did do some terrible things. He was a FLDS person. The priests, yes, they did do it. Yes, people that were Scientologists did do this, but a lot of this abuse is happening because of the doctrine, the policy, and the practices. So this is different than people just doing the abuses. It
But a
happens
book
to
can't
be.
do it, right? Like a book can't make you do bad things.
But the policy of disconnection, the policy of making you do a touch assist for 9 hours or an ethics handling for 9 hours until your meter floats, that can cause abuse. Now, a person has to make that policy happen, yes. Has to put that policy in place, yes. But the belief of the doctrine or the policy in this case happens to be the abuser.
Okay.
Different perspective.
No,
But
I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear, other points of view on this. But you can't send a doctrine to jail,
no, but you can take the doctrine's 501c3 status away.
That is true. And I agree with you on that, Mona. I do.
Yep. And then that takes the people out of it. Probably not everybody, because then you're still going to have, And in my case, as a never-in, I'm not against anybody that wants to believe in Scientology. I'm not against somebody that's their religion or that's what they believe in. I'm not against that. I'm against the abuse that it causes to children, people, and the elderly. That's what I'm against.
I'm with you on that.
So, you can have a religion, whatever you want to believe in. If you believe in aliens, fine. If you want to believe in caterpillars, fine. Whatever, as long as it doesn't abuse people to do that.
Yeah. And there's certainly people who wouldn't be exempt from that, like David Miscavige, for instance, the head honcho, Tom Cruise's best friend that runs Scientology, would, of course, be held accountable for this. But he is somebody that would probably be under direction of the doctrine, right?
Yes.
For what we know so far.
There are people that should be held accountable, and I don't need to name the names, but you know them as well as I do. Now,
Please
whether
name
they
the
spend
names.
a day whether they spend a day in jail or not, I don't know, but I mean, they should be held accountable. Marty Rathman, David Miscavige, Mike Rinder. I mean, they did bad things.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think I don't think any of them would necessarily, well, I'm sure David would say he didn't do a bad thing in his life. Marty has kind of disappeared off the face of the planet. I don't even know, he's probably just chilling with his payoff and hoping that it all goes away one day. I have no idea. And it's difficult with Mike as well, isn't it? Because sure, he's out here, he's posting things, he's talking about it, but we are no further along in their tax exemption being removed. People are still being hurt, and it feels like we're in a stalemate. Some of those videos, and some videos I've not even shared all of them, but some of these are old videos. Where's
Right.
the one? I had one from Lucas. What's his name? His name's Lucas. He used to work at one of the Narconon facilities. And he was talking about all of the credit card fraud and insurance fraud and stuff that went on within Narconon. And that was 3 years ago, when he came out and said that online. And where are we? And I think all of us that do care about this want to see the tax exemption removed, people have a safe space to land when they leave, and give people a space to share their experiences of what has happened, and then guess what, we'll probably move on to another cult. But
Right.
until that day is
Okay.
here, this is where we're at.
And one of the things that I've been working on behind the scenes is with, I had talked to Liz Ferris about it, was I watching Serge Obolinski's life when he went through the aftermath when they helped him. And Serge, I don't know, do you know Serge Obolinski?
I edited that documentary, yes.
You do? Okay, cool. So, a law coming out of that needs to be that if you've been in volunteer ministry for 5 or more years, they need to pay for your transition out, whether you're volunteering to get out, whether they're making you get out. They need to put you through school, find you housing. They need to provide transition services. That needs to be a law.
So you mean if
Because
like a Sea Org member wants to leave, then they should be set up on the outside because they don't have resources, right? They're not paid enough to save any money.
and they
Um,
don't have the experience on their resume.
yeah.
They don't have experience to get a job except for what they've been doing. But how do you put on your resume? How do you even know how to write a resume?
Yeah.
You don't even know how to go to a job center. You don't have those resources. You don't have your schooling. You may not even have your IDs or a driver's license to get a job. So they need to provide transition services, and that needs to be a law.
Are there any quote religions that have that for their ministries currently? No.
I don't think there's any other religion except for to be a nun or a priest that
No.
does that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the idea. It's great, but I can't, I don't think I see them doing it. They'll be like, oh, yeah, sure. I mean, it
Well,
would
and the
probably
good thing
save
is
them
then they
a lot of
other
trouble.
religions won't be there fighting the law because
Truth.
there aren't any that do that.
Truth. Okay. And with the letters you've drafted up and stuff, what action do you want people to take? Obviously, the survivors, you want people that have experienced abuse in Scientology to add their name to that and send that thing in. What about people who are never in Scientology? What can they do to help your cause here?
Well, they have their own letter, as I said, and it's worded just a little bit different, stating that they have not helped the survivors and that we as never-ends are filing a claim and we want action. And we want two things done, and it's at the bottom of that letter. We want two solutions to this. One, we want the 501c3 status either permanently revoked or at least temporarily revoked while this is being looked at. And two, we want them to freeze the IAS member trust funds, which is where all the money goes.
Okay.
That's where all your billions and billions of dollars sit. And we want that trust frozen. That's a Delaware trust. So it's completely within their purview to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that we want as a community and that we're demanding that the Department of Justice do.
That is amazing. Honestly, it's so awesome, and people in this community continue to amaze and surprise me with their efforts, with their fights, including you in this. And I'm excited to see more of the stuff that you put out. And you know, what's up next on your kind of channel? We can have a little look. Actually, we'll put it on. Get it up on the screen so people can find you.
I'm a very small channel, so if anybody subs to me to get me over 1,000, I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, let's do it.
But
Marilyn, if you
my
can
next
share
step,
the link, that'd be amazing.
which I asked you if you would do with me, and I asked Eric Rader if he would. So the three of us, I would like to do a exposing the Church of Scientology's battle plan.
Okay.
And I haven't decided a date because I wanted to see what date would be good with you guys. But that would be that's my next live.
All right. Sounds good. Let's do it.
I think we need to do some trauma bonding with our community.
Fair enough. So, guys, you can go over and subscribe. Let's get her over to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, you'll be able to see that live when that comes out. And you've been doing, oh, look, we're right there. Look, we're right there right now. How nice is that? So yes, go over there and check it out. And you can go and see.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
That's absolutely fine. Thank you for jumping in and having a chat about this. Should we have a little look at some questions and see what people are asking about in the chat, shall we?
Sure.
Let's have a look.
I can't see the chat, so I can't see any.
I'll read them
so.
out.
Okay.
They'll pop up on screen. Can you see those? Traveltology says, "Thank you for discussing these vault documents. I have been fuming mad about these for months." Yeah, well, we're taking a look. They're a big read, you know.
I wish they weren't all blacked out because I'd love to have seen all the information on them.
I know. I guess you know, they have to redact it for whatever reason. I suppose it's personal information of the people who made those complaints, right? So
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I'm sure we can piece together the rest of it. Thank you for that. Kia 1912. I think the idea to try and get the official departments involved in this is great. I still don't get how it's possible they're ignoring all of this. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? Why do you think they're ignoring it?
I think it's such a big fish to fry. I agree with like Jeffrey Augustine. His view is, look, they take out people with $15 charges. They're not afraid of the Church of Scientology, especially the IRS. I really don't think they're afraid of that. I don't think it's the money. I think it is, that's just the way it's been for a while, and why change it or why make a big stink or why make a big move until they have to?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Clara Connolly says Mona is so clear, cutting through the spit. She's great.
Oh, thank you, Clara.
Thank you. Yes, you are awesome. And literally, with how much notice? Like 10 minutes. Like, here we go. Let's do it. Why not? I love the energy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have got again question from Kiar 1912. Can I do this as a German citizen as well, or do I need to be an American citizen?
That's a good question. You can file as a never in if you are a survivor and you have lived in the United States or done any services in the United States, you can file. And if you have similar laws in Germany and want to take the document and make it your own, please do.
Okay. So for me, for example, I am not an American citizen, but I was in a public Scientologist family. We went to Flag, we did services over there. Could I send something in or no?
You could because you've done your services at Flag, and if the FBI would have not given them, or if the IRS would have not given them back their 501c3, you wouldn't have been harmed.
I see. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. That's good to
Right.
know. And good to know for anyone else as well that might be in a similar position. That's a great question. Thank you so much for that one. Tommy Tone Toontown. What a great name. Question. Could we file financial fraud complaints with the US Secret Service? They are the agency that handles credit card fraud in the US. Ooh, I imagine you probably could, right? Surely.
I'm sure you could, and I'm sure there has been in the past. I can't imagine that there wasn't with all of that credit card fraud that went on. I haven't dug into that because it wasn't this has been a lot, so I haven't dug into that also. And I really figured that I know the financial part of it is big, but right now child abuse claims are even more.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's where I've spent my time.
yeah, priorities totally. But this is a perfect thing because there might be somebody out there watching right now who is interested in following the money and looking at all of those insurance fraud claims and kind of how they've been defrauding the elderly and the chase wave and all of this stuff. And if that's you, then
Right.
get involved. This it's going to take a village, guys. It really is.
Yep.
So if that's you, then get involved. You can contact me at hellohelicopter@gmail.com. You can contact Mona. I know you've got an email on your YouTube page, which people can find. So
Yes.
get in touch.
And it's kind of like gnats. We all just need to be GNATS, not natters, but just gnats. Just everybody needs to attack them, and they can only swat so much before they're gonna get it.
Yeah, they can't get us all. Like, do you ever remember there was there was a potential like Area 51 raid that was going to happen a couple years ago, and they made this huge like these people made this huge like Facebook event and stuff, and they were like, we're going to raid Area 51 because they can't get us all. And there were thousands of people that said they were going to go to this, to the point where it was quite scary because obviously they shoot on site at the at Area 51.
Oh, yeah, no, goodness, that would scare the heck out of me. That's what I always when I see all these protesters around the blue building or even the ones down there at Flag, and I'm like, "Well, if all of you just run a different way, the cops can't get you."
It's a good point. It's a good point. Let's see what we got else in here. We have got, I want to just say a quick thank you to Emma Robson for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you so much for becoming a propeller. Appreciate that a lot. We have got PT Bird. Question: what if someone misspelt their name on the arbitration agreement? I did it when they wanted me to sign up. I mean, listen, if that's not your name, it's not your name, right?
Yeah, I think it's all intent, and that would be a great lawyer question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe we need to bring a lawyer onto the channel. That's a good one. We'll save that one and think about it later. But I would want to say that if it's not your name, it's not your name. But it's a good question for sure. Um, Haggis Basher. What is it gonna take to light the fire under them? And she says, "Hey, Fat Grammy and Sir Crepitus. What is it gonna take? It's gonna take a village."
It's going to take all of us to stand up at once and say, in this, another part of this whole thing was when you guys did the march around Celebrity Center with the list that Liz Gale put together, which was mind blowing and phenomenal. And I don't think I've cried so hard in so long watching that. And they want receipts. We have a receipt. In fact, it's even called a receipt.
75
The
feet long,
list.
honey.
Yep.
I think I can
That's
actually
what
pull
it's
this
going to
up.
take, is everybody to stand up and say, we are not going to take this any longer.
I was going to pull it up in case anyone hadn't seen it. If you have been living under a rock, you can find the 75-foot long receipt on Serge Delmar's channel. And I think it's actually on quite a few people's channels. Oh no, Nora, Liz Ferris, Lara Anderson. There's a few people that were there. So if you want to see that, you can go and see it. But yeah, it is very impactful and one of the best protests of Scientology that I have seen. I thought it was amazing.
When we went into the OIG meeting for the Los Angeles Police Department, Michael and Serge brought the list.
Oh yeah.
And we unrolled it in front of them. And I was lucky enough to be virtual, but him and Serge in Audit LA took the list there and unrolled it. And as they were unscrolling it, Serge was saying, look, here's so-and-so. This is what happened to her. Oh, look, here's, Philip. I mean, it was just really impactful.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about, you guys. If you did not see this, I highly recommend going watching it.
These are all kids that grew up in Scientology, you guys. All of these kids. And you're all going to see all of it. Can you hold it here?
Brilliant idea. Brilliant.
Yeah. And we give Liz Gale a shout out for that because she created the list. I think she has a plan as well to do it on kind of like a worldwide scale and have people create lists in different parts of the world to unroll them all at the same damn time, which I think is incredible.
That would be.
Yeah, so if you've got an org near you and you want to get involved with that, I'm not sure if she's got I think she has a community post where she's kind of asked people that want to get involved and stuff. So go and have a look for that on Liz Gale's channel. So you can get involved if you want to get involved that way as well, which will be awesome. Let's continue going through some of these questions, if that's all right with you, Mona.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I apologize for my dog snoring over here by the computer.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's an English Mastiff.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
He's about 210 pounds.
Wow, he's a big dog.
He's a big boy.
My backstage YouTube sometimes gives me analytics of what my audience are involved in and what they like buy and stuff, which is crazy. And one of the top things is pet supplies. How wild is that? Who would have thought? So we got a lot of animal lovers up in the community as well. So okay, we got a question here from Grammy Jen. Maybe someone should ask Sarah Edmondson from Nixium, who the reporter was that broke their case. She was on the Aftermath podcast. Yeah, maybe somebody should do that. Absolutely. If anybody has a link to her or knows her and knows how we can get in touch, that would be great. I'm happy to talk to anyone who wants to help with this situation. So,
the more media, the more eyes, the better it is.
Absolutely. It's a really good idea, Grammy Jen. Thank you for that. Tommy Toontown says, comment, human trafficking is the purview of the Department of Homeland Security Investigations Division. They would lead any task force. Can you speak to that?
Correct.
Do you know if that's true? That's correct. See, this is what we need, people who understand how the government works. Reminder for all my UK people to vote this week as well. We've got our elections on Thursday, so get involved. George Massey is in the chat. Hello, you. Realization I had was that the Catholic Church scandal was the result of deviant priests. The Catholic Church doesn't have policies that promote or encourage the behavior. Scientology does. Yeah, and I think
That's exactly what I was saying, George.
yeah, that definitely speaks to your point, the point you made earlier about, the influence of that doctrine on the behavior. And I totally respect you for putting your point out there about that. And I totally see it as well.
Well, you can't, the 501c3 is not going to get revoked by a person doing the abuse. Look at FLDS, they still have theirs. The Catholic Church, they still have theirs. It's about the doctrine itself. The church itself has to be the abuser to have it revoked.
Yeah. And the doctrine itself is inherently abusive. It causes people to be put into psychological and sometimes physical states of distress, right? So yeah, I totally hear you on that, and I really respect you putting your point there. Thank you so much. We got Haggis Basher. Question: is there a way of tracking to see where the money from their humanitarian and charitable orgs are going to see if they actually are doing what qualifies them as a tax-exempt entity? They have to file their spendings, no? Like every other 501c?
They do. Probably they have to file their 990s, but it would definitely be an investigation.
And is there a way to see that? Is there a way to find where their filings would be? Is there a website or something? Or no?
Well, you can see their 990s that they file because those are public documents, but you would have to have a forensic auditor go in to look at where their money is going or whatever, or the audit would have to come from possible illegal activities. So you would have to have it would be an investigation. It certainly wouldn't be something that you just go in and go, hey, are you really spending your money at Narconon the way you're supposed to?
Yeah.
I
mean, they just need to look at where the Office of Special Affairs are spending their money, hey, on, private investigators following people around, collecting their trash and harassing people in all kinds of ways. So yeah, there's definitely stuff going on that would disqualify them, I think, from being tax exempt. But
most certainly. But the Church of Scientology itself is not an organization. CSI is an organization. RTC is an organization. CST is an organization. There's over 50 organizations that I've found that webs, that tentacles the Church of Scientology. So there isn't any single particular, there's the IAS, which is where all the member money comes into. So it's such a web.
And they're treated as separate entities, like they're not all under the same thing because it's the Church of Scientology, no?
Correct.
Wow.
And the Church of Scientology itself has no members and has no clergy.
Because it's a religion that, okay, so they have it out everywhere else. Wow. Okay.
Well, all the members are part of IAS. The International Association of Scientologists.
Wow.
So when you become a member of the Church of Scientology, you have to pay for your membership into IAS. It's totally screwed up, Kelly. I mean, it's pretty brilliant, really, if you ask, if you think about it on a business sense, it was pretty brilliant.
I mean, listen, I'm glad we got people who understand all of that in here, like you, like business and stuff, because I'm just like, this group are whack. They cause my life to be difficult and many of my friends' life to be difficult. So,
That's right.
I don't have all of this, the knowledge that you've got, and I'm so grateful that you can share it here with us. And it makes it simple as well, because I think it's deliberately confusing. Like you said, it's a web, right? It's a whole web of a situation. Even the way their hierarchy is a whole web of a situation.
It
Um,
is.
so trying to detangle it is a mission. And yeah, like I said before, it's gonna take a village.
Financially, one of the biggest scams in the United States is their real estate scam. I mean, as long as they don't get a loan to purchase a building, as long as it comes from the parishioners or from donations, they can buy it for $1, sell it for $10 million, and they don't have to claim taxes when they sell it. There's no capital gains because
Wow.
as long as it comes in from donations, if they get a loan, that's different. So that's why they have everybody pitch in to buy these buildings, because
Wow.
they know they don't have to pay. They have that as an asset on the books, and they don't have to pay capital gains if they do sell it. Or if they renovate it for free with all of the RPF
Yeah.
and the Sea Org people.
Which they do.
They do. So what a scam that is.
Mm. Yeah, there's so much that can be looked at here, and you can look on YouTube and see all of this is documented in one way or another and continues to be and will be until something changes.
But as
Like I
long
said
as they
it,
have that 501c3 tax
yeah,
status or
yeah,
religious status, it's completely legal.
yeah. And for anyone who's watching in OSA, hi OSA. We aren't going anywhere. We we are not going anywhere because this is wrong and it's ridiculous and we are here to stop it. So yeah, we're just gonna
What's
have
that
to.
saying? I'm going to be like a gnat on a fly ass.
I've never heard that before, but I love it. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it to let's get it trending with the kids. So Crepitus is in the chat. Hello. And has a wrench. Oh, he has a wrench on your channel, I think. I think that list is over 200 kids so far. I'm sure the list will grow. Yeah, you are
Yes, it
completely
is.
correct there. So Crepitus, completely correct.
And hello, Sir Crepitus.
We have got a question for Mona. If their IDs were taken by Church Scientology, what should they do to get a new one or a replacement? An ID? I mean, you have to go to your government offices, right, to get a new ID issued. You need a birth certificate or something, right?
Correct. So if they don't have a birth certificate, then they need to probably go to their local Health and Human Services office to
Yeah.
figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Wow, I
I-
never even thought of that. Imagine not having access to your own birth certificate and stuff and not having an identity. That's a really good question. And yeah.
It is. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, really scary. And a good question. And as well, I think like if you're undercover under the radar signs, I always say undercover, under the radar Scientologist, or you're thinking of leaving, there are charities out there. There is the SPTV Foundation, there's the Aftermath Foundation, there's charities to help you get back on your feet outside of here. And with something like that is definitely the type of thing that they can provide advocacy for to point you in the right direction. So
In
um,
every state in America, we have what's called workforce development centers. And those workforce development centers have wraparound services for folks, especially in emergency services, especially ladies like that need to leave an abusive situation. I'm just giving you an example, or a person that wanted to leave the Sea Org. They can go to we used to call them unemployment centers, but they're called workforce development centers now, job
okay.
centers.
Yeah.
They can go there and say, this is my issue. I need to get documents. They will help you do that. They have to help you do that. They will. And so if you're an under the radar person that needs to get out, there are resources like that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got another comment here from Sir Crepitus, who says, Common LAPD is part of a multi-agency human trafficking task force. Have they done anything at Blue? Nope, because of safe pointing. Local law enforcement is worthless. What'd you say to that?
Shout out to Sir Carpenter's and I's video last night about safe pointing, where we talked about Sheriff Baca, and that just happened a couple of years ago. He went to, well, he didn't go to prison, but he was supposed to go to prison for 3 years for it. Safe
Wait, for
pointing,
what?
yep.
Oh, for safe pointing. Wow. Okay.
The sheriff of, yep, of LA.
Wow. Well, you can check that out on Fat Grammy's channel. I'll I'll make sure there's a link for it afterwards so you can go find it. Go and subscribe to her, guys. She's almost at 1,000 subscribers. And she is doing some great work looking at these FBI files. So definitely have a look into it. Got another comment here. Question even from Beta. Hello, you. Question. I would like to research how Church of Scientology specifically traffics humans. Where is the best place for me to research this? I mean, there's a lot of testimony online, documentaries. There are a number of blogs and stuff out there from ex-members and stuff that you can check out. There isn't a list of like a Church of Scientology trafficking website, unfortunately. That doesn't exist.
Serge Del Mar is really a good resource for that.
Yes, definitely.
His channel, yes. Literally Serge.
Yeah, you can check him out just here. I just had it as a channel up. You can see his channel just there. It's literally Serge Del Mar. Do a little zoom for you. There you go. He's got this duck costume. It's so funny.
He has a lot of research on his channel.
Yeah, so you can definitely go check him out there. Fantastic. We've got one more question here. From Francisca. Question. Do you think Pesh and Scobie backed off because they could be implicated in the crimes they were reporting? What do you think about that?
No, I don't think they did back off. I think they reported what they had and the ball got dropped. I think the FBI either was safe pointed or just decided to drop it. They said they didn't have enough evidence to make the claims. The claim that Mike Rinder and Amy Scobie and Mike Pesh had done was for physical violence between adults. It was when David Miscavige was beating on them.
Yep.
At Golden Era. And so that's what that claim was for.
Yep.
And that's why it was dropped.
Yeah, no, and my only thoughts on this at all is, I don't know that with Matt specifically, he speaks about, how he had to finance this, getting people out of the country and moving people around that had experienced child SA and even adult SA as well. And there's a video that came out with him and Jeffrey Augustine, and he's almost a little bit jokey about it. I don't even know if he understands what it is that he kind of did there, which is just really hard to hear and really rubs me up the wrong way personally. And I think a lot of people feel that as well. So, I think everyone that has spoken out have at least not shied away and ran away into the dark corner to hide and not say a damn thing, which many people could if they wanted to. So I do have at least the minimal respect for people doing that, but I understand the more negative feelings around it too. But this chat is not about that today. Not today. Listen, Mona, I think we're at the end of the starred questions. I think we've done it. Oh, we've got Serge Del Mar in here, though. Hello, Serge Del Mar. Thank you. Who says the head of the so-called human trafficking LAPD task force is besties with Scientology. Actress Marisol Nichols. It's no wonder child trafficking gets called religious activities by LAPD. Yeah,
right.
And as we said before, go and check out Serge's channel. It's right here. He discusses this so well and speaks on it brilliantly. And Serge, we've got a lot of love for you out here. So thank you so much for all of the work you are doing.
Serge is definitely one of my heroes.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a little thing here from Marilyn as well. She says, "Hi everybody, I stopped starring questions for the sake of time, but please email your further questions to Mona and then your email address just there." So I'm sure this will give you some more things to bounce off videos, because people want to know about this, Mona. They're so interested. And everyone just wants to know what we can do, because it's so frustrating to feel like the FBI don't care, or they just won't do anything about it. It's
with all of this attention that we've been giving it the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, I'd say for the last month since we've been doing this, there has to be something, and you never know what's going on until it happens.
Yeah.
But there, darn well something's going on behind the scenes on this. I can't wait to see what it is. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall somewhere. But
Well, we are going to find out soon enough, I hope. Mona, thank you so much for joining me today. Everyone, go and subscribe to her. Let's get her over the 1,000 subscriber mark so she can continue making her brilliant work.
thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. I appreciate you inviting me on.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much for all your work you're doing. Thank you to Marilyn, who's been backstage starring questions for me. She's a superstar. And I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
The IRS issued letters recognizing Scientology, and every one of its organizations has fully tax-exempt.
The length of time from the planet Coltis to the planet Tigiak, which is the name of this planet, was 9 weeks.
127 years in the Sea Organization.
And they had elected a fellow by the name of Xemu, could be spelled Xemu, to the Supreme Root.